Okay, so can you tell me how did you got started with Airbnb?
Sure. Yeah, we decided that we wanted a little bit of a change in our life and to start planning for the future. And we had come up to the Okanagan. We were living elsewhere at the time, and we decided to buy a place and decided that we would rent it out as a short-term rental, but still live in the other community. But we did hire a property manager, and then we ended up spending so much time at the condo that we decided that we should maybe try to sell our house in the other community and then move to the Okanagan. And we found a place in the same building that were rented downstairs. Our property manager had to quit due to illness, so it was perfect timing in that sense. And then now we're running it ourselves. We've been running it on our own since since October of 2021.
That's great. But how do you see the fact that you hired a property management for your specific scenario? I think it was kind of helpful, right? But do you think it's better to manage yourself?
Honestly, it was, I think, useful, and correct me if I'm wrong, Deb, but I think it was useful to start with to give us a bit of a better understanding of the industry. But we have specific wants that we want to provide our guests, things that we want to provide our guests, that our property manager, rightfully so, we're not condemning her at all and never will, wasn't providing, because that's not what she did. And whereas now we're actually doing the things that we really wanted to be innovative, and to provide sort of a world-class experience, if you will, for our guests. Anything else, Deb?
No, I think that covers it.
Yeah.
Can you comment a little bit about these experiences you like to bring your guests that you can do it only for yourself?
Well, I travel the world on business, doing work in other communities, and spend a lot of time in hotel rooms, in resorts, or in other, in Airbnbs or short-term rentals. And over the years, fortunately, my wife's been able to come with me on occasion, and we've experienced the things that we do like and the things that we don't like. So what we tried to do in our condo is to do away with those things that we just never liked, and made sure that they were not in our place, but adopted some of the things that we did like. For an example, special occasions. We celebrate people's special occasions, whether it's birthday cakes or, anniversaries. And we kind of go that extra mile. We probably put more in than what we should, but we're doing it for the passion of making other people have great experiences. That sort of how we've lived. And so we do things like that. We actually put extra special treats in our property when guests arrive. I won't necessarily say what those are, but it's special things for kids that we do when kids are coming, whether it's coloring books, art. We've got summer equipment, towels, a variety of different things to take to the beach, wagons for them to take to the beach. What else?
Beach toys.
Yeah, beach toys. We just provide a lot of extra things that you wouldn't typically see in a lot of short-term rentals.
That's great. And how does your guests take that?
Well, so far our goal has been, and I don't want to ever get too comfortable with it, but so far every single review that we have had on booking.com, it's 10 out of 10. On Airbnb, it's 5 out of 5. On VRBO, it's 5 out of 5. And on and people comment that if they could give us higher scores, they would. And these are people that have stayed in a lot of properties, and they rank it as the best they've ever been in. in their comments that they post in their reviews. And then we also have our own property booking site, which does also, we've had perfect reviews on those as well. That's what we strive for. Do we think we'll always maintain that? Probably not, but it's definitely our goal to achieve that 5 out of 5 or 10 out of 10. But mainly it is our goal to give our guests a great experience. So, yeah, we'll never be millionaires, as my wife said, because we go too far, maybe.
But what you do is really great. I've heard other hosts that do similar things like you, and they always get like the best guests and get guests who stay with them more than once, that always choose them. So it's great that you do that.
Yeah,
So
we're getting a lot of repeat guests, and honestly, we have not had one bad guest. I can't. They've just all been amazing, and we get to know our guests because we actually do live in the same complex, and we end up meeting our guests. And I mean, it's been just great experiences, and we can't thank our guests enough. It's our guests that are going to make us successful, not just what we do. Yeah,
that's right. I agree. And do you have any screening you do for guests before accepting their booking, for example, just so you ensure you have good guests?
we do. Typically, I will review as much of social media, LinkedIn. I like to find my guests on LinkedIn if I can. I'll do social media. I do find it difficult sometimes in doing other, searching basically on what, Airbnb only provides first name now, which makes it hard. But again, I do what we can to screen them. But I really, one of the things, we do ask them to tell us why they're visiting the area. And if I feel like there's a problem, I would turn it down. But honestly, we haven't had a guest that we felt uncomfortable with. And we are, essentially,
living in the same
yeah,
city.
we live here, and we're pretty confident that if we had any problems, we'd be able to deal with it anyways.
That's great. And I was about to ask you, what's your typical demographic of guests?
That's interesting, because our guests have ranged from,
Rock-
young rock climbers from Quebec to hockey players, younger, hockey players generally with parents, because we have a hockey school right by our facility. And we get a lot of seniors who are coming here to visit family, or I would say seniors, I would say our age, my wife and I's age. We're not seniors, well, getting close to that, but people that have family in the area and come and want to stay. So yeah, and we encourage them to host family events at our house, not events as in a party, but a dinner or something like that. We're very open for people doing this, and we don't charge extra for it. So yeah.
And so far, how has been your experience with allowing those type of reunions in your house? Everything good with that?
Yeah, everything is fantastic. One of the things that our guests like to do, and if they have family over, our condo is it's called, Elephant or Grandma's Elephant Hideaway. And it has a significant number of elephants throughout the building, or throughout the condo, and they play games and they count them, and we know how many are there, and they have little competitions, and it's fun. So every single one has been great. We've never had a problem. Yeah,
That's great. And now I'd like to ask you about the area you're hosting in. Can you tell me the city again, please?
the city is Penticton, British Columbia, located in the central Okanagan of the province.
Okay, so how is the market in there?
We have a fantastic tourism organization that allows us to be part of their Tourism Penticton. They do a lot of marketing. Penticton is, we host an Ironman annually. It's received some great recognition as a place to visit. We have close to 50 wineries right in the community, right in the area. A lot of breweries that are literally a 10-minute walk away from the front door of our condo. The lake, we have two lakes, one on the south end, one on the north end of the community, Okanagan Lake and Skaha Lake, plus numerous lakes in the area. The Okanagan Lake is literally a 5-minute walk from our front door. Beautiful sandy beaches, warm water in the summer. Temperatures are very good, getting into the area of 35 degrees to 40 degrees Celsius. So, very, very warm. And then we have, what did you say? Sorry? The ski hill in the wintertime. There's a Apex, which is about a 35-minute drive up on the hills. A lot of trails and hiking and rock climbing in the area. So and biking, mountain biking, a lot of different things to do in the area.
Wow, that's great. So very touristic area, and does it make the short-term rental market very competitive there?
There are a lot of short-term rentals in the Penticton area and in the whole Okanagan. There's a lot of short-term rentals. Some communities are starting to regulate them a little bit more, but I pay an annual license fee. We get inspected annually from the city. We find them very, very good to work with, and the community has been very supportive of the short-term rental industry. So
That's great to hear. And what about, you told me that you were renting out in many platforms like Airbnb, VRBO Booking. Which of them have you found bring the more traffic to your listing?
So far, it's been VRBO that has brought the most bookings for us. It's funny because we have friends with another Airbnb in the area, or with a short-term rental in the area, and primarily their bookings come from Airbnb. So I don't really know why, but we've been very happy with VRBO, although we are seeing an increase. I'd say a dramatic increase actually in the number of Airbnb bookings we're getting now. Yeah.
That's good. And what about the seasonality in the area you're hosting?
Well, the summer months are definitely the best for us. So from May to September, we're typically running around 100% occupancy. We can't take any more in the summer months. The odd little gap here and there, but and then in the winter months, it's a little bit slower. But our primary goal every month is to have enough guests to cover our costs and our monthly costs, and we've been able to achieve that. And so we've had guests every single month. It's never been that we've never had guests. It's always been where maybe there's more empty days than there is full days, but we've been very happy with what we've been able to get.
That's great. How much would be the average occupancy rate in the slower months, for example?
In the slower, I'm going to say about 50%.
It's still a good number. And do you change your strategy when it comes to available days? How many days they can book the listing in those months?
Yeah, we typically don't allow bookings less than 3 days. But actually in the summer months, we'll be changing it next year. We didn't do it for this year. However, our bookings worked out good enough that we didn't need to worry about that. But we will be changing it from May to October to minimum 5 nights in those months. And then we'll go back to the 3 nights from October 1st to April 31st.
And how did you gain that the 5 nights are more convenient for those months?
Well, the summer months, of course, our rates are higher. And we don't want gaps necessarily to be able to build. And a 2-night or a 3-night rental makes it hard for us to be able to sometimes fill the other, if people are looking for, most of our guests, most of our bookings in the summer are a minimum of a week, and some are, 2 weeks in the summer months. And but we've had instances where, somebody will book for 3 nights, and then it kind of ends up leaving a gap in the other, with the rest of the week, because people wanted a weekly booking. So
Yeah, I understand. That makes a lot of sense. And what about your pricing strategy for your property throughout the year?
well, naturally, summer months are going to be our highest months, but where we, our rates, we kind of more or less copied, we increased them slightly from what our property manager had been charging, and she had been successful in that first year. And then when we took it over, we increased the prices about 10% for the summer months, and we were able to get it. In the winter months, typically what I've been doing is sort of just going by what the market is doing. I don't really, again, my main goal is to cover my costs and to give our guests a good time, try to build a bit of a return clientele, and ideally we'd like to see a lot of our guests be return visitors over time. And so our goal has been, in the winter months we will be a little bit lower than what we are in the summer months, obviously, but again, just enough to cover what it is we need to cover our costs. So.
And since you told me there are many short-term rentals in your area, do you usually check the market to price competitively against them?
Yes, I do. I haven't had to for the summer months just because, we're there, but I do check even now to see what my competitors are charging for the summer months that haven't been fully booked. And I'm finding my prices, I think we're right on line as to what they should be for the summer. And but I do check, probably weekly. Actually, I will run different seasons dates because we allow bookings a year ahead. So I'm constant, except now I've changed it to 10 months because I want to see how I want to have a little bit of an overlap to be able to adjust my prices accordingly. So yeah.
I see. And how has been your experience with opening your calendar so much time ahead? Because I know about some hosts that I don't know, maybe don't like that. Maybe they open 3 months ahead, just 4 months. 10 months, it's a lot of time.
I think for us, because we're kind of reaching that stage in our lives, and I do travel a lot for I still do work, and I still will be starting to, now that COVID's ending, starting to travel quite a bit. And for health reasons, I'm trying to slow down, and which is one of the reasons why we ended up buying the condo. But we, by having it open a year time, it allows me to plan. It allows us to plan and I just like that. I like to know that sort of longer term where we're going to be. And honestly, it's worked well for us. So I don't think I'll change that.
That's very good. And so in this past time being an Airbnb host and hosting in the other platforms as well, what has been your biggest challenges?
Cleaners.
Hoping we have a good company.
Yeah, we're hoping that we've got a good company now, and it seems like that we have. For the first, at the very beginning, my wife, or Debbie, was doing it. And honestly, with having to do that, it kind of takes away from us being able to do things ourselves and to take the time that we want to spend together. And so we have hired cleaners, and Debbie is very particular about how things are set up for our guests, how our bedrooms are set up, how the welcome baskets and everything else that goes along are set up. And And we just found that the care that the cleaners take, that she was spending just as much time there as she was as if she was doing it herself, making sure that it was done the way that she wanted it done. And then our cleaners, they left for other reasons. But we found a company now that really understands and accepts that, and is working well with us so far. And we're really quite happy with them. And but that is the biggest challenge, I think, for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that many times from other hosts as well. And
Yeah.
what would be like the criteria you used to screen these cleaning persons or companies you received before?
Yeah, honestly, we go by the kind of reviews on them, just like people go by reviews on us, to whether they're going to book. What's that? Yeah, and then we meet with them, we interview them, and this last one, she just, it was fantastic. She seems like a very nice lady. She's got a good team. And I think that was the other thing that we look for, is where there's a team of cleaners, not just one. Because we find with one of the concerns that we have with just one cleaner, if we need a same day turnover, that sometimes can be a challenge, especially if they're trying to clean multiple properties. Our condo typically can take, even with, and we've had our guests leave our place really spotless, but because of the standards that we want to keep, it takes typically a minimum of 4 hours to clean our condo. And so we need to be able to have a cleaner team that can take the time to be able to do that. So.
Yeah, that's right. I understand, because cleaning is one of the most important things on short-term rentals, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So lastly, is there any tips that you'd like to share for other Airbnb hosts?
Well, I think quit complaining about the stupid things. We hear constantly, short property owners complaining about, early check-in or late checkout. If somebody asks for a late checkout or asks for an early check-in, don't get offended by that. I ask for that everywhere as I travel if I need it, and I don't get charged for it, and I've never been charged for it in my 30 years of doing what I do. And I think things like that, and going that extra mile, sometimes you can't accommodate. We get that ourselves. I mean, we have people that sometimes want to check in early, but because we want to provide that clean environment, if we've had a guest that leaves that same day, we know we can't accommodate it. And we tell our guests that right up front, and they're fine. We've never had a guest mad because they couldn't get in early. But to me, it's just be more flexible with your guests. Give them an experience. Have them respect your property, respect them. And we, like I say, we go that extra mile for our guests. Not every property owner can do that. We understand that. But I think, have a little compassion for your guests. And I think you'll enjoy the business. I mean, we really are enjoying it. We've enjoyed it. We've enjoyed it for the 2 years. We're enjoying it a lot more now, managing ourselves over the last 7 months. And
if your towels and sheets and stuff get ruined, that's the joys of doing business.
Yes, the other thing is recognize the cost of doing business. And the other thing is go away from the cameras. I understand why we do it. A Ring doorbell is one thing, but when you've got cameras inside a home, it's wrong. And we want guests. We want to be seen as, exactly. We don't want our guests to feel like they're being spied on. And if we want to be in the accommodation industry, recognize we're in the accommodation industry. If we're going to be, our competitors are, we can easily say that our competitors are not hotels, but our competitors are hotels, and we need to be better than them. We provide more space. Typically, we provide more things, but we need to be better than them, and not be afraid of going that extra step. So.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree with everything you say. So that'll be it for today. Thank you both for your time and tips. It has been really nice talking to you.
Thank you,
Thank
Glad.
you.